your journey. I know there's so many things happening every single day in your own journey, and you don't really know if it is actually the right thing that you're currently doing. You don't know where to start. You don't know, is it maybe the right thing? Should I quit? Should I do something else? Or whatever. And that actually leads to a completely different path. But what I want to give you today is a real outlook and a real map of what you can do and the things that I would actually started earlier or have done different, because that's exactly what you can actually implement in your own journey. That being said, let's get right into it. And the very first, there's 5 stages that you need to go through to actually master something or get real successful. And these 5 stages are: first, knowledge. Knowledge is just the bath full of information. Okay, if you have knowledge, you're wise, you know a lot about many things. Okay, and knowledge is so important because it gives you such an advantage in every single conversation, because you can understand so many things at the same time. And the second thing is actually skills. If you want to get successful, if you want actually to get rich, you need to have skills that the marketplace can actually reward you for. And skills are the things that people actually value the most from you. Because if you have a value to the other person, for example, if you're a doctor and you can heal somebody else's illness, then it's going to give you so much power, because you have such an enormous value to the marketplace with that. And skills are actually going to make you rich. And third, once you have knowledge and skills, you're actually going to build a network. You're going to build connections. You're going to build a lot of things and attract a lot of people into your own life that you actually provide value to, or that really inspired by your vision and actually love what you're doing. And once you build a network, and your network, like many people say, is your net worth, and it's actually very true, because your network actually helps you so much, and it's actually so enormously powerful on the way, because it actually also reflects how far you are in your journey. If you have a great network, it means that you have already provided a lot of value into marketplace, or maybe your parents, but that's a completely different story. And once you actually build knowledge, you build skills, you have a network, it's inevitable that you will have resources, aka you will have money. And once you have built this fundament of you have resources, you have network, you have knowledge, you have skills, that is when a very powerful thing comes into place. And that's something that is a complete upward spiral, and that is your reputation. Actually, a few hundred years ago, it was very, very hard to build a great reputation. But today, if you're actually somebody that's very wise, has very great skills, and has a very good network, and has the resources to actually afford great cameras and whatever, and maybe good editors, whatever, then it's actually very simple to get a great reputation, because attraction or attention is something so simple to acquire in today's economy. It's so enormously important. So what I would do if I start over from zero again, I would start and focusing from the beginning on building knowledge and building skills. So start reading books, start listening to a lot of people, and really have these good conversations where you can learn a lot about different topics, and maybe also sometimes topics that you don't find interesting at the moment. And once you build the knowledge, really double down on 1 to 3 skills that you actually want to master, because that is the marketplace is going to reward you broadly for. And the only thing that's actually going to matter in the end, it's not just about the money, but it's about the person you build, and the person you build stands on the skills you have and on the knowledge and the wisdom you have developed. And with that being said, let's move on to the second point. Alright, and this one is actually going to make you very, very uncomfortable. Let's just be honest, okay? You are currently sitting in your room and it's actually pretty warm. You have your iPhone, you have your laptop, whatever. You may even go to school or go to work, probably. You may have watched or listened to that motivational quote where, oh, my fear of being average is higher than anything else or whatever. You're actually pretty comfortable in your own situation, because if you would not be very comfortable, I promise you, you wouldn't need to watch this video or do anything else, because you would have so much motivation, you would already be rich. I just speak the facts, it's just a reality. So what you need to have something that actually pushes you to that level where you actually need to do something else. Because I can tell you, just be completely honest with you here, if let's say your whole family would depend on you making 1 million in a year, I promise you, you would make $1 million in this year. Yeah, it's going to be very, very uncomfortable. It's going to be very, very hard. It's going to take a lot of things, and you need to do it legally. But you will actually get it. I literally promise you that you will get it, because if you need to, you will. And yeah, that may sound a bit harsh or a bit unrealistic, but I can actually tell it into words, but every time I really needed to do something, like really needed to, I always did it. And if you actually go with that mindset into it, the chances that you are actually going to get it is so enormously high. So what I want to tell you is take risks. Take the risks. Take enormous risks. Because in the end, that's actually going to give you such an advantage over everybody else, because we are all pretty comfortable. And you may say, or you may hear all the time, oh yeah, but I don't need that big car, or oh, I don't need the designer clothes, or I don't need to go there, I don't need to have this big vacation or have a private jet or whatever. Nobody needs these things. But why not go for the finer things in life? Why not go into this level? But if you actually want to get to this level, you need to trick your own mind, and that's just pretty simple. Just take risks that actually force you to get to the next level. For example, what I once did is actually bought a course. I bought a coaching program for like 10,000 Swiss francs. Like it's almost $11,000, and that actually forced me to actually push so enormously hard, because it was all the money I had at that point. Because I worked in sales, took the money and actually invested all into myself. And it forced me to get to the next level. And if you have something like that that actually forces you to get to the next level, I'm not here to tell you that you need to take a loan or whatever. That may be a bit too harsh. I mean, you can do it, and I promise you, if you actually put in the work and you don't get crushed by it, it's may going to work. But I once heard this sentence, and I think it's actually pretty true. Everything that doesn't break you makes you stronger, and it's actually pretty simple. If you actually give yourself obstacles, you give yourself a risk, a challenge that you need to overcome, and it's exactly at the tipping point where it's not going to give you too much pressure, it's not going to break you completely. If it's going to break, it's not going to help you. So you need to actually go so far where it's just at the tipping point where it would break you, but you can take it. And if you can take it and it doesn't break you and you can overcome the challenge, it's going to give you so enormously much. All right, let's move on to the third point. That's actually one that's also not going to be that sexy. And it is just, success is not as sexy as you think. At least not the beginning. And that just means that maybe you have this broad Pinterest vision, or you just created your vision board, or you just visualize your own purpose, or like how you're going to make this and achieve this goal. But the reality is just, if you actually want to achieve your dreams, if you actually want to go, like if you have big dreams, I'm just talking about people that have enormous visions, because I assume you are a person that has enormous visions, then just be aware that the journey is not going to be as sexy as your Pinterest board or your vision board, because all of these motivations are going to fleet. But this is exactly where you come into place, and you build your character. Because I once heard a very famous and very smart quote, and it's actually completely true. Fast success builds ego, and slow success builds character. So if you actually want to build the character behind it, if you actually want to get successful as a person, then you just need to know that it's not going to be as sexy as you think it is. But I can just tell you, it's going to be really worth it. Alright, and this fourth one is actually a pretty direct one, and it's going to help you a lot if you actually implement it. Start reading. Pretty simple. Just start reading. Just start listening to audio programs. Start putting together or purchasing that book and opening it every single day. But it's very simple, but it's very true, and it's not actually a hard task to do. It's just about getting in the reps, doing it over and over again, being very consistent with it, and just getting together the knowledge. It comes back to the point I made in the beginning, where the first point is knowledge, and you just need to start reading. Because if you actually read, you read a lot of books, you're going to get very smart, and going to be very wise, and it's also going to give you a lot of creative ideas and many things that you can implement in your own life. Start listening to books, ask great questions, and actually do a lot of things. That's exactly what my next video is going to be about asking the right questions and how to actually ask the right questions, how to get a great listener. So if you actually want to keep updated, click the subscribe button and activate the clock so you can actually see the next video popping up, because that's going to be a very powerful one. And with that being said, if you have big visions for your life and you actually want to achieve it, then just lock in on the vision. And with that being said, see you in the next one. Keep grinding.